Yo, yiggity yo. Yiggity yiggity yo. What up? Malcolm Lovejoy, my minute supreme. Hi. Yeah. So it's going into more readings from Sex and God. Just getting back on the bizall. Yesterday I had to do some business to do for that world record of a pussy eating event I'm doing on Sunday, September 1st. So I was at the office. Excuse me. I was at the office checking out the place. And I can't tell you the location. The only people who know the location are the ladies that are being invited and are part of the event. But anyways, I had to go there and the meeting got pushed back a bit. And then I missed the Jadena concert. So sad. It was so sad. Yeah, I was so close to getting into Jadena. It was a free show at Entice on Queen. I was vexed because the meeting got pushed back. So then I got to the Jadena concert half an hour later, and the people that were in front of me got in. The girls that were there at 7:15 got in, but me, I got there at 7:30. And I just should have left the meeting quicker. Oh well, I got to pick up the brother for a moment. Jadena, I'll see you on October 24th. The point is, Jadena actually was on the Breakfast Club recently, schooling Charlemagne or DJ NB and he was talking about polyamory and African traditions and cultures and stuff like that. So these aren't real digressions. Everything's connected as one. You just gotta see the connections. So, big up to Jadena and big up to those who live their own sexual religion. And on that note, I'm going to dive into this myth. Christians are monogamous. Ooh, let's go there. Monogamy as the natural state is so deeply ingrained that most Christians and Jews are able to totally ignore the hundreds of wives and concubines of their God's most holy men, Solomon, David, Abraham, and many others. I love just out the gate. Blow. How about that? Take that factual truth that is written there in your book in your face forever and has always been that way. This is not us twisting the Bible. This is what your Bible says. So, indeed, monogamy, as Jesus defined it, is not even practiced amongst most Christians. Jesus defined monogamy as one sex partner for life. Matthew 5:31 and 32. It was also said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except for on the grounds of unchastity, makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Other passages also make it clear that divorce is not an option except in the most extreme cases of adultery. For example, Paul says in 1 Corinthians 7, chapter 7, verse 10 and 11, to the married, I give this command, not I, but the Lord. A wife must not separate from her husband. But if she does, she must remain unmarried or else be reconciled to her husband. And a husband must not divorce his wife. A woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives. But if her husband dies, she is free to marry anyone she wishes, but he must belong to the Lord. As if that happens. Just to make the point as clear as possible, Jesus said, Matthew verse 19, chapter 4 and 6. Haven't you read, he replied, that at the beginning the Creator made them male and female, and said, for this reason a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. Premarital sex was not an option for Jesus or Paul. Based on this, the Christian view of monogamy has been one partner for life, with the only exception being the death of the spouse. Even in the cases of adultery, the wrong spouse is not supposed to remarry. How many Christians today would fit into that definition of monogamy? It's like the Bible is all good until you actually have to start living by it. I digress. How many Christians today would fit into that definition of monogamy? Every Mormon who had premarital sex, every Baptist who has had an affair, every Catholic who has received an annulment, except for adultery, every person who is remarried after a divorce, are all living a non-monogamous lifestyle. How about them apples? Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the... I haven't said that name in a while. Ugh, tongue got yucked out. Former Speaker of the U.S. House and very conservative Catholic, has had 3 wives and who knows how many other partners. He is anything but monogamous, according to this definition. Wow, how not shocking. A white male professional politician in the States being a hypocritical Bible thumper. I'm clutching pearls. Is Ted Haggard, former president of the National Association of Evangelicals, monogamous? He admittedly had sex with a male prostitute. Nothing's wrong with it, but it's just like when it contradicts the religion that you spend your whole life saying that you practice and get millions of dollars for promoting. Well, I don't know. Is Earl Polk, megachurch evangelical minister, monogamous? It turns out through DNA testing that his nephew is really his son. He had sex with his own sister-in-law to father the son. What? The son, nephew, is now taking over the ministry. Having sex with your dead brother's wife was a biblical commandment, but Earl evidently couldn't wait until his brother died. Hey. Many members of Haggard's and Polk's congregation are as non-monogamous as their leaders. Some would say that people like Newt Gingrich or the evangelist Joyce Meyer are serial monogamous. But the idea of serial monogamy makes no sense. Either one is monogamous or not, according to the tradition of Christians. So monogamy is a myth amongst most Christians. At least the Muslim men don't have to deal with that problem. They are permitted up to 4 wives, though Muhammad allowed himself many more. Myth. Jesus makes marriage better. That's going to be the last myth we get into. We just got to break these down one by one. Busy times and days. We run around a lot. Thousands of sermons have been preached on how to bring Jesus into your marriage. I've heard at least a dozen from ministers who eventually got caught in affairs or divorced themselves. A year 2000 study by the evangelical researcher George Barna found that fundamentalists have the highest divorce rates. Shocking, not shocking. The leaders in divorce were non-denominational, Episcopal, Baptist, and Pentecostal. Not much evidence of Jesus present in those marriages. The divorce rates among ministers is roughly equal to that of the general population. If those who preach and teach about welcoming Jesus into their marriage show equal divorce rates, obviously the Jesus treatment isn't working. Dr. Roy Austin, religious therapist and graduate of Southwestern Seminary, made this observation about the Barna study. Magical thinking is often a factor among evangelical and fundamentalist couples, and that leaves them less prepared for the rigors of marriage. The atheist doesn't believe in God and so doesn't depend on God to save or fix a marriage. It's just the two of us, and that takes the magic aspect out of it. Gary Thomas, author of Sacred Marriage and director of the Center for Evangelical Spirituality in Bellingham, Washington, says, Christians should use marriage to seek holiness, not happiness. Mr. Thomas believes that Christian churches contribute to divorce rates by being too tolerant. Christians need to rethink of their marriages as a chance to serve Christ. A Christian who gets divorced puts their happiness before their devotion to Christ. It's pretty easy to see how following this guy's Jesus might lead to marital unhappiness or divorce. These are just a few of the many myths that religions perpetuate on their members. In the next chapter, many more will be explored in different contexts, such as, did Jesus masturbate? And other intriguing thoughts. So yeah, let me just drop a few jewels there. Yeah, it reminds me of my church, the Clearview Pentecostal Church. Ooh, it had so much sin and filth and hypocrisy, the lies, the lies. Oh my God. The hypocrisy of that church is burned into my brain and my subconscious. I dream about it every month, every year of my life. I haven't gone to that church nor been a Christian in any way, shape, or form. I didn't consider myself a Christian, but I was dragged there when I was 6 or 7 or 8 years old as a child by my aunt. And it's still in my brain to this day. I'm 42 years old. Clearview Pentecostal Church is just lodged in my skull. And the point of this is to talk about the hypocrisy of that church and the practitioners in it. I'll never forget the pastor's daughter, like one of the lead pastors in the church. His daughter got pregnant when she was like 13 or 14. And I was about 8 or 9 at the time. And I heard about it and I was like, well, that's cool. She got pregnant. No problem. I mean, she's the pastor's daughter. Like, this is the perfect place for her to have this situation happen because her daughter, her father is pastor. She'll be fine. They'll take care of her. I was 9 years old. My naivety. God bless. God bless that naivety because that innocent ignorance of mine was shot dead so fast, so quick. It was so real. Like, I almost want to just take it to another level because they fucked my head up and they were like, nah, yo, she's a pastor's daughter. It doesn't matter. We are not going to respect her. She was fucking chastised, tossed out the church. Oh my goodness. It was horrible for her. And oh my goodness, just brutal. So like just kids. Just brutal to her. So like it was whack. It was whack. They like cast her out. I couldn't get no comprehension of why. I was like, yo, why are people dissing her? This is the church. Y'all don't care about her? No, Addie. You're young and dumb and 9 years old and you think that everything's all good in the church and that they accept everybody. You think that they're gonna accept a girl that has a child out of wedlock in 1988? Just like you failed. That's how I felt. Yeah. Hella. Fail. Yeah. So I'm just done. And it's just the point. The hypocrisy of the church ain't cool. I'm gonna go. It's always not been cool. It's like nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. How many institutions move slower than the church? How many institutions evolve slower than the church? I can't think of any institution that the medical institution, medical profession, they evolve, certain degrees. I mean, they draw some, probably have the cure for cancer and AIDS and stuff, and they just draw it out so they can cake up a little more on people as their lifetime customers. But they still have to evolve, they know like other things. Finance, I don't think it evolves that much. But The church. Nah, yo. Old school styles. Pews, the Bible. Come on. How many churches, like, they got computers in there, but, like, they're not right. It's not. They're not trying to, like, update and get all up. Like, you saw Doctor Strange. They might have Shambhala as the Wi-Fi password, but still, there's traditions that the church holds on to tight, and conservative sexual value is at the core of every motherfucking major religion on the planet. I don't care what anybody else has to say. It's not like the church is being like, well, let's let go of that first sin committed by Eve idea. Everything rests upon that. So I'm just going to say bye-bye. And I hope that you are good to yourself and the people around you. I've been a little just on and off, up and down. I gotta go do two things. I got a big day tomorrow, 1-year anniversary with a very special sacred lover of my heart. Beautiful angel. But yeah, I love you. Peace. Right? Say peace to Tupac. Pac, say peace. Peace, Pac.